What if I told you that you could clone any voice, and I mean perfectly, from just a 3-second clip of them talking? Seriously, not some long speech, not a fancy studio recording, just a tiny little snippet. It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? Well, today we're going to look at the tech that's making it very, very real.
You see that little sound wave on the screen? Yeah, that's it. That is literally all the source material this thing needs. Just 3 seconds. It's kind of wild to think that this is the line between a futuristic idea and a tool that we can use right now.
So, how in the world do we get from that tiny audio clip to a full-on expressive voice clone? Well, here's the game plan for our deep dive today. We're going to start with the model itself, then we'll peek inside its unique engine, put it head-to-head with the competition, see how it's tweaked for the real world, and finally, we'll talk about what all of this really means for the future.
Okay, first things first, the technology itself. This comes to us from the team at Mistral AI, and it's a seriously powerful new contender in the text-to-speech world. It's called Voxtral TTS. And believe me, this isn't just a small step up, it feels more like a giant leap forward.
The big promise of Voxtral TTS is right there in the description. It's built to be expressive and multilingual. We're not just talking about a robot reading words from a page. Nope, this is about capturing all the little things, the nuance, the tone, the emotion that make a human voice sound, well, human. And it does this across a whole bunch of different languages.
Now for the really cool part. How does it actually pull off this magic trick? Come on, let's pop the hood and take a look at the very clever hybrid engine that's making all of this happen.
Okay, so the secret sauce to Voxtral is how it splits the job in two. Think of it like this. You've got semantic tokens, which are the what? They're the words themselves, the meaning, kind of like a script written by an author. But then you have the acoustic tokens. They're the how, the performance, the sound, the emotion an actor brings to those words. By separating these two things, instead of trying to do it all at once, Voxtral gets really good at both, and the result is way more natural and expressive. So here's how it all comes together. You give it the 3-second voice clip and the text you want it to say. The model then rips that voice sample apart into its what and its how, those semantic and acoustic tokens we just talked about. Then, 2 different models get to work. One figures out the meaning, and the other one slaps on the specific sound and emotion from that voice sample. And boom, out comes a brand new audio file of the cloned voice speaking your text.
So the tech is definitely impressive, but how does it actually perform against other big names out there? Let's get right to the showdown and see how it stacks up.
For this throwdown, Voxtral TTS went head-to-head with a really strong competitor, ElevenLabs Flash V2.5. And this isn't just about comparing numbers on a spec sheet, oh no. This battle was judged by the toughest critics of all, actual human listeners.
And the results are in. In these blind tests, native speakers listened to audio from both models and judged them on how natural and expressive they sounded. If you just focus on the voice cloning results, you can see Voxtral, there in orange, already has a pretty big lead.
And here's the number that really seals the deal. A whopping 68.4% of the time, people preferred the voice clone made by Voxtral TTS. Think about that. More than 2 out of every 3 people picked Voxtral. That's not just a win, that's a decisive victory. But you know, this is where it gets even more impressive. Just take a look at how this plays out across different languages. I mean, the performance is super strong everywhere, but just look at that win rate for Hindi, nearly 80%. A technology that works this beautifully in languages like Hindi is such a powerful reminder that the future of AI has to be global. It's proof that this isn't just some English-first tool, but something with truly world-class multilingual power.
Okay, so it's a clear winner when it comes to quality. But a great model also has to be practical, right? Can it actually work efficiently in a real-world app? Let's talk about how they made it smarter and faster for you and me to actually use.
To make it more accurate, the team used something called Direct Preference Optimization, or DPO. Basically, they just kept fine-tuning the model based on human feedback to cut down on mistakes, and the impact was huge. The word error rate just plummeted across multiple languages. For German, it went from over 4% down to less than 1%. Fewer mistakes just means a more reliable, professional tool.
And it's not just smarter, it's also incredibly fast. This is not just some experiment stuck in a lab. Thanks to clever tricks like coup de graph acceleration, which basically plans out all the hard work ahead of time, they slice the latency almost in half. The result is a system that's built for the real world, able to handle over 30 users at the same time on just a single GPU. That is some serious real-world power.
So, we've seen how it works. We've seen it win in a head-to-head competition, and we've seen that it's built for reality. Let's bring it all together and talk about what a breakthrough like this actually means for the future of synthetic voice.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, there are 4 key things to remember. First, you get amazing, high-quality voice cloning from just a tiny 3-second sample. Second, it has fantastic multilingual support, just like we saw with those incredible results in Hindi and Spanish. Third, it's the clear winner in human preference tests. And finally, and this is a huge deal, Mistral AI released the model weights, which means the whole research community can now build on this and push the future of voice synthesis even further.
And that brings us to our final and maybe most important thought. This tech is incredibly powerful, and it's only going to get better. But as we get closer and closer to a point where AI can perfectly mimic any voice, it forces us to ask a really big question. What does it truly mean for a voice and for communication itself to be authentic?